Shalom, Israel. There's a police officer of 500 Zanyala coming to you live from Isupk Chicago with the Lashawan Qadash class. First off, we want to give it up to the Most High and Christ, Yahweh in the Hebrew, and Yahweh Shai and who people know as Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai is his name in the Hebrew also. With that, I want to go ahead and say it was a glorious Passover last week. We had a great time. Everybody came together, had fun. It was a memorable moment. That I know there's a lot of pictures out there, and I think that everybody just enjoyed their time and really came together and really just stood in the moment. And it was a glorious time. You know, it was a glorious week. And when you go ahead and come across brothers and sisters that you know that put in work all year, it's a great feeling, because you know they're doing this in other states, they're doing this in other zones, they're doing this in other countries, islands, and then for everybody to come together in Atlanta last week was an amazing feeling, you know, because I'm so you know, inspired by everybody who does the work of the Lord all around. And you know, that's what we do here in the ISPK under Commanding General Hana. You know, we come in here, we shed ourselves of the world. You know, we start understanding what is the truth of the Bible and how we can live by it and do it the proper way. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, the Lord sees our good, because we changed, we shed ourselves of that ugly person, and you know, we endure to the end. And when that day happens and we go towards judgment, you know, hopefully the Lord has mercy on us because we changed our life for the better. You know, you just got to come out of this Christianity, this Catholicism, these Islam mosques, this Rastafarian stuff, whatever denomination you are. If you are Black, Hispanic, and Native, that no other book, philosophies, or groups is for you. If it ain't of the Bible, it's not your culture. It's not for you. But definitely the Passover was amazing. You know, we had a great time. You know, but now it's back to work for everybody in the school. And you know, just to go ahead and give everybody a shout out there that you did great all year round last year, and to see you guys at the Passover was amazing. It was heartfelt, and really now it's about getting back to work and trying to see how many people we can go ahead and include into this organization, so that way we can move forward as Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, doing better, not only for ourselves but for our children, and hopefully they pass it generationally on. You know what I'm saying? Because we did, you know, come way away from what the Bible really prescribes for Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, and we really do need to come back to learning and understanding properly. And there's only a certain group of people who know how to teach this Bible correctly, and that's the ISUPK under Commanding General Hana. And with that, we're going to get into the Lashawan Qadash class. Also, for the Hebrew graduates, for the Hebrew Academy graduates, I applaud you all. It was a hell of a 28 weeks. I know we endured a lot, and it was all worth it at the end. You know, there's plenty of pictures out there that show exactly how much we've been through, and the struggle, the sweat, the blood, the broken bones that brothers had. You know, it was humbling. It was a humbling experience, and you know, and we're humble because we know the brothers before us did it. And when we know that the brothers before us did it, we had to go endure it ourselves. And let me tell you, from one of the Hebrew graduate, me being a Hebrew graduate of 2025, I gotta say, I love these brothers, you know, to the inner earth and back, because I could see what we did, not for ourselves, not for only the brothers who did it before us, but what we did for our nation out there. So, you know, I'm gonna get off this talking. We can get back into Lashawan Qadash. I just want to give you a couple public service announcements. but we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Hanna. We are not affiliated with any other Christian groups, Catholic groups, Islam mosques, any other organizations. If it's not of the ISPK, it's not the truth. We are not also affiliated with any other Israelite groups. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get into the Hebrew. I'm gonna start off with the alphabet, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. Also, before I go ahead and get to the alphabet, definitely tune into the Round Table of Truth on every platform. That is the Round Table of Truth on Instagram. It will be on YouTube, and it will be on Facebook. Definitely like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe to ISPK Chicago, ISPK Gary, Indiana, ISPK Southern Illinois, ISPK Rockford, Illinois. Like, share, subscribe to all those classes, because there's really heavy material, and we definitely want every Black, Hispanic, and Native to gain this information so that we could teach our families and our kids the proper way moving forward, because we are in a horrible situation out here, and the only way out of it is if we determinedly try to do the right thing, and that's men, women, and children. No discrimination for men, women, children. We all got to do better, and we also got to be able to be humble, to be the type of person that understands that we have to learn from somebody else. And just like we say here in the ISPK, anything we say, definitely do your own research. And then when you do your own research, you'll see that we don't mislead you, or we don't manipulate. Everything that we say here is the truth. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the Hebrew alphabet. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It helps out get this truth across. Like, share, and subscribe to all the channels, just like I said. With that, we're gonna go ahead into the alphabet. Everything in the Hebrew starts from right to left. Okay, so at first, Lashawan Qadash, the holy tongue. Okay, and then in Hebrew, how it's spelled from right to left is Lashawan Qadash. These are connectors on the bottom. When it's directly on the bottom of a letter, you keep the entire letter of it. So this is La, you'll keep the LA. This is Sha, you'll keep the SHA. But when you got a connector from one letter to the other, this is Wa, right? Wa. So La, Sha, Wa, and then you got Na. So when you connect it to this last one right here, you'll take the first letter and knock the second letter off. So La, Sha, Wan. So you got N right here, and the A. You just knock off the A. So it's Lashawan, just like we spell it here. Lashawan. Then you got the Kwa. Kwa's right here. And then you got the Dash that's connected. So you got the Da, and then you got the Sha. You see how Kwa, Da, and then you got the SH, but you will take off the A at the end. With that, that's the Holy Tongue, written in English and Hebrew from right to left in the ancient. Now, right here is the ancient Hebrew from right to left, like I said, and right here is the Assyrian Hebrew, which is in the Tanakh. And then the Tanakh is written from right to left. And when you're reading it from right to left, it has it word for word in here from the Hebrew and then to the English on the left side. So with that, everybody would like to subscribe and get a Tanakh. I believe you could get it on Amazon. I believe you can get it on Amazon and stuff. But definitely, you would like to get. I want to reiterate the Tanakh. I don't know how good you guys see it, but you definitely want this Tanakh, right? And then you will definitely want to get your Holy Bible. You know what I'm saying? And then you also want to get your Apocrypha. And when I say this, I'm not saying this for the brothers and sisters who are in the school, but I know we got a lot of people watching who are not in the school. So if you really want to learn properly, you'll need all sources of historical records in order for you to be detailed in your teachings and in your discoveries of learning. So that's how I will put it. You want the Holy Bible, you want your Apocrypha, and you would definitely want the Tanakh. So that way you could work on your ancient Assyrian Hebrew. And I'm gonna tell you, you'll get better and better. And how this class works is I go over the alphabet with you, and then I'll just put simple words on here, because I'm not gonna give nobody sentences when we don't know words yet. So that's how we're gonna do with this class. So right here, we're gonna go to the ancient. I looks like a sideways A. I, Ba. Ba looks like a triangle type of G. You got Ga, looks like a slanted 7. You got Da, looking like a triangle. You got Ha, looking like a 3-line F inverted. You know what I'm saying? You got Wa, looks like a Y. You got Za, that looks like a Z. You got Ka, that looks like a 3-step ladder. You got Ta, that looks like a circle with an X in it. You got Ya, that looks like a slanted Z with a slight line on the inside of it. Boom, boom, boom. That little, we always do stuff with style. So you know what I'm saying? Even in the ancient Hebrew, you could tell that Blacks, Hispanics, and natives of the ancient world still had a good detail of how they wanted to, get their writings across. Next one is Ka. Ka's like an inverted C with a V in the middle. You got La. La's basically it's not like a sharp L, but it's an L with some type of definition. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Got a little curve on it. Bam. You got Ma. Ma looks like a W at the top going into a slight Y at the bottom. So you know what I'm saying? However it helps you understand, this is how you want to go ahead and describe it to yourself. The way I detail it is going to be different than how you detail it, and that's perfectly okay. Na is like a V with a Y formation. You got Sa. Sa's a line from top to bottom. Slightly from the top, you'll have a Z type of formation, and directly below it, you'll have a line just going right across. You got I. I is just like a circle. Pa looks like a J, but you got the line at the top, and a little bit from the right side, you want to go ahead and slope it just like a J. You have Taza. Taza is a line from top to bottom. A little bit from the top, you want to go ahead and do like a little Z formation right here, which causes the letter Taza. You have Qua. It kind of looks like an umbrella. You got the little dome at the top, or you could do it like a mushroom. Got a little dome at the top, and from the top to the bottom, in the middle, you have a line going from top to bottom. You have Ra. Ra looks like I want to say like a 4. You want to check it like a 4. Boom. Some 4s are written like this. Some 4s are written like this. This is the one that looks similar to Ra. I'm just trying to put it in a way where you'll actually get it as simply as possible, because eventually, hopefully, y'all will be teachers of the same language, and you can teach others also, men, women, and children. You got Sha. Sha looks like a W. As simple as that. Then you got Tha, the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It looks like an X, but it's a little bit, it's from top to bottom, and then right here, it's not connecting at the bottom. It's not connected. So you'll bring it a little bit off the air, and you give it a little swoosh at the top. And this right here is your ancient Hebrew. Now, the Assyrian Hebrew, which I told you it's in the Tanakh. That's what this is the form that the Tanakh is written in, which is the Assyrian Hebrew. There's the ancient Assyrian. Now with this, sloppy. Before I go further, directly below it to the Assyrian is the letter. So this will go, is this. So ancient Assyrian. So ba, ba, ga, ga, da, da, ha, ha. So it's just like that. So don't get confused just because you see it in this form. And then you see it in this form. Just know directly below it is the same letter, just an ancient up top and a Syrian on the bottom. So we have A, kind of looks like a capital N. We got Ba, that looks like a 7 with like a little platform at the bottom. You got Ga, looks sort of like a little high heel for females, for women. You got Da, that looks like a 7. Similar to that, the next one is Ha. It looks like a 7, but then you got the little dash right here. You got that little dash right here. So it looks similar. Da looks similar. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Except this makes it a whole completely different letter. So that's Ha. Then you got Wa. Wa's like I want to say it's like a stuck up short 7. You know what I'm saying? Got his nose in the air. Stuck up short 7. Then you got Za. Za's like a short top T. You got the line. You got like a little T at the top, like a little dash at the top. You got Ka. Ka looks like a pie sound, like a pie look. Like if you ever did algebra or something like that, it's like a pie, but it's just like the 7 right here. It goes across, but then it connects. That's another way you could describe it too. You see how it looks the same right here, right here, right here on these, except this connects from the top to the bottom. And that's how you get Ka. So you got Da, that looks like a 7. You got Ha, that looks like a 7, and got a little dash right here, and that's Ha. And then this one's Ka. Ka looks the same with the 7, but then you got that line that's top to bottom, and that's Ka. Ta. Ta's like a U shape, like a fancy U. Just go over there and swoop it in and look real fancy. Then you got Ya. Ya is like a comma in the air though. You know what I'm saying? Not on the bottom. It's in the air form. Now we're gonna go to Ka. That was Ya. Ka. Ka is like an inverted C. La is, I want to say it looks like a 7 or like a question mark. So boom, you got it from right here, and then you just bring it down. It's more like a question mark form. You know, and then right here is like how it's printed, like how you would write it in your own script. So the same thing as La right here. That's how it will be written, like if you written it with your own hand. So it'd be like a little fancy stuff, but it's more like a question mark right here. But right here, you can tell that it's got a little bit more definition, a little bit more style, a little bit more normalization to it that you could tell a person wrote it. Because you know when something's printed, it's perfect or it's perfectly placed like this. But then when you write it yourself, it's gonna have its own little definition, its own little form on it. So definitely La. You can either write it like this, or you could get as close to this right here. It's both La. Also, before I pass it up, without you guys even knowing, Ka in the Syrian is like inverted C. But also, if Ka is at the end of a word, it's going to be written like this. So if you see this at the end of a word, understand that's going to be Ka. So say if this is the beginning of the word, no, I can't even use that because that's when we get into it, we'll hopefully come across one that's got Ka on it, and I'll show you guys. But this will be at the beginning of the word. This will be at the end of the word. This will never be in the middle. This will never be in the beginning or the middle. This will only be at the end of a word. And Ma is like a cursive S with you could do it like I don't know, you could put it like as I think it's like an S shape. Boom, boom. And then you got a little tight touch up at the top. And then if Ma is at the end of a word, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like a square type shape with a little slope going towards the top right here. You know what I'm saying? So this is Ma at the beginning of the word. This will be Ma at the end of a word. So don't get it confused. These fall at the end of the word. Only for these though. Ka, Ma, Na, Pa, and Taza. So 5. So all right, we on ma. We go to na first, na next. Now looks like a short version of a C, like a boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom. So this is na, and then if you ever have it at the end of the word, it's gonna look like this. So don't get this confused with this one right here. I know it's kind of hard to differentiate, but once you go ahead and keep on doing it, you'll get familiar with what's ka and what's na at the end of a word. Moving forward, you got sa. Sa looks like a circle. It kind of looks like this. It kind of looks like ma, but don't get it twisted. Ma's more like in a square formation. Sa is more in a circular formation. They both got a little definition at the top, but completely different letters. Let's always try to reiterate that when we're learning, so that way we don't misinform ourselves and misinform others. All right. Next one is I. I looks like a Y, a regular Y. It just slopes a lot further down. It's not like, all right, there's a Y. You know what I'm saying? That's a Y. But the way we do it in Hebrew, it's a little bit slow. Boom. You know what I'm saying? More like that. Instead of it being more higher, it's more lower. It's got a deeper definition on it. And then you swoop it straight to the side. And that right there, that will be I. Hope everybody gets that. The next letter is Pa. Pa is like a upside down G. You can just easily go boom, upside down G. But if Pa is written at the end of a word, you just got like an upside down J. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. That's it. Nothing really to it. You just got to remember Pa in Assyrian, this is going to be at the beginning of the word, this is going to be at the end of the word. So if you ever see that at the end of the word, you know that's Pa. Moving forward, try not to get I, which is in a Y formation, and try not to get Taza, that's similar to a Y formation, confused. So Taza is more like, yeah, it's like that. I mean, you can do these little fancy strokes at the top if you want, but Taza has like a little bit more spirit on it when you're writing it. So it's like Taza. Make sure you always write in capital letters too. So Taza has it like that, and then remember it's got a Taza also at the end of a word. It's gonna be written like this. Man, it's gonna be written like that. If you want to go ahead and put them little at the top, you could. You know what I'm saying? But definitely don't get it confused with I. Similar, but totally different letters. All right, moving forward, Kwa. This, I want to say, it looks kind of like an R. I usually go by like how it's written in the handwritten, because this one right here looks a lot more like a question mark and a slight line right here on the left side. I want to go ahead and say it looks more like, except you don't take it and drop it down like an R. You just boom, boom, and you stop like halfway on. And that's how you get Kwa. Everybody's technique is different. Everybody's script is different. So the way I would write it, you probably write it better than me. But that's how you would write it, in like a sort of an R formation. Just when you're going down, don't go all the way down. It gets cut off right here. Next one is Ra. Ra is just boom. That's it. Ra. You know what I'm saying? If you want to put a little bit, no, I can't do that. That's the core. If you want to something like that, it's got little You got a little slight touch up on top if you want to. If not, this is perfectly fine. All right. And that is Ra. Then you got Shah. Shah is like a W up here. Shah also in the Assyrian is like a W. Except you got it. Boom, boom, boom. That's how I will write it. Now, if you want to do all this, you can do that too. It's totally up to you. You can do it this way. You can do it this way. As long as you know this letter right here, Shah, belongs to this. As long as you know one of these belongs to Shah. That's how you do it. Next is Tha. Tha is like it's kind of like I want to say it's kind of like Ka, Chaa, but it has a right here on the left side. When you come down, you got a little bit of a definition at the bottom. So you'll see it. Boom, boom. And then you come around like that. So I'm gonna show you. So you got this, and then you got like that. That's how I would write it. And that'll be Tha. All right, so that's the alphabet right there. I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera over. We go over some words. So lock it. Move the camera over. All right, let's get it. I want to get it as close as possible. All right, so these will be words with the letter H, right? Hold on 1 second. Sloppy. All right. The last time I did class, if you watch it, I had missed the H on a word. So I'm gonna go over it one more time because I had misread my writing. And I apologize about that. But anytime we say something, and if we do get it wrong, we will right our wrong. And this is what I'm trying to do. Okay. The word was head. The word was head, right? And I knew I was right when I was writing it. I just questioned myself. It was my fault. So head, pronunciation. Bastard. All right, let's get on. All right, so pronunciation will be Ra, Ah, Sh. You'll be Ra, Ah, Sh. What I did last time is I didn't include that H, and I knew in my mind that H was supposed to be there, but I had the RAASH, and I knew I was wrong. But once I got off camera, I realized I had wrote it wrong, and I wanted to right my wrong. So, Salaki, if I did get it wrong the last time, but always understand if I do something that I missed, I will always make it right. And I'm gonna write it. So this is the word head. This is the word head. In Hebrew, it's pronounced Ra Ash. No, you know what? Oh. Ra Ash. All right, and I'm gonna put it right here. Sloppy. All right. And remember, the only reason we're doing words right now is because if we can't sound out words, we can't pronounce them in sentences. So that's the only thing I can do is take baby steps with all men, women, and children viewing. Hopefully everybody can see it. I know it's like a little glare. Yeah, it's like a little glare on there. All right, that's a little better. Slocky, everybody. So we got the word head. In Hebrew is Ra, Ash. And then written from right to left in the ancient is Ra, Ash. You know, you connect it. Cut off that A at, you know how you usually have an A right here? Ra, Ra, Ah, Ah, Sh. Then you just chop that A off. And that's how you say head in Hebrew. All right, the next one is hear or listen. Hear or listen. That will be Shemai. Remember, always write the capitals. Right there. You got Shah, you got Mai together. Boom. Now, this is hear or listen. It's Shemai in Hebrew, S-H-A-M-I, Shah-Mai, and I'm going to write in the ancient. Right here. Boom, boom. You got Shah. You got Shah, S-H-A, S-H-A. You got Ma, M-A, and then connected with the I. It got no second letter to it, so it's Shemai. Got it? You got the, instead of having the A right here, just connect it with the I, Shemai. Next one. We did that one last week. Let's do heat and hot. Heat or hot. Heat or hot. Calm. Right back. All right. Damn. My bad. So, it's just one word, ka. Because it's got a connector. You got ka, which is boom, 3-step ladder. That's ka. Then you got boom. Kam. Kam. And kam in the ancient Hebrew means heat or hot. Let's not get it twisted. You know, learning is hard when it's something that's not in your normal curriculum, but definitely this ancient and Assyrian Hebrew is your ancestors of Black, Hispanic, and Native descent. This is our alphabet. This is how we wrote our words. This is how you sound them out. Over time, you'll probably get accustomed to it, but that's why I'm just going over words. You got head, which is Raj, also written in ancient. You got hear or listen, which is Shammai. Shammai right here in ancient. And you got heat or hot, which is Kam. Kam with the connector. Boom, is in the ancient. And then I'll go over 3 more. Just gonna give everybody a couple of seconds to go ahead and write it. So that way they have it in their notes. If not, you will definitely have to, rewind it or watch it again. But the reason I give some time is there's also men, women, and children that are learning, and I definitely want them all to get the same courtesy time as everyone else to write it down. All right, I'm gonna go to the next 3. All right. And remember, this is only for Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. So if you're an Arab, if you're a Chinese person, you could tune in. That's no problem, you know what I'm saying? But definitely understand this is just for a particular group of people that the Bible is only for. And, you don't have to like it. It's just the way it is. The next word we're going to go over is heaven. 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 My writing's a little not as great as everybody else. Heaven. So if I don't, let me just write it over because my writing is not the best. I want everybody to at least understand what the hell I'm writing. Heaven. Heaven. All right. There's heaven in English. You can write that down. How we pronounce it in the ancient will be Shamayam. Sha. Ma. I hope everybody understands my writing. I'm telling you, my writing is horrible. Sha. Ma. Yam. All right. And I'm going to write in the ancient, but this is how you sound it out. Sha. Ma. Yam. Now from right to left, Shamayam. Shamayam. All right. So you got Sha, you got Ma, Yam. So written from right to left, you got Sha, you got Sha, you got Ma, you got Ma, you got Yam, you got the Ya and the Ma. Connect the connector right underneath it. Connect these words. You got the Ya and Ma. You knock the A off. You got Yam. Sha Ma Yam. And that right there, everybody, is heaven. If anybody has words that they want to go over, just put it in the chat, and I'll go ahead and review it, and I'll provide you with it next week. However I can help, just let me know. No, this is not for me. This is definitely for everybody in the nation. I don't do this of myself. I do this for everybody else. All right, next one's gonna be heavy. Like heavy, like that bag is heavy. Them groceries are heavy. Picking up them heavy, dirty clothes. Heavy. That's my wine. Even though it's bad. So heavy. All right. Heavy. And how you say heavy in Hebrew is kabod. All right. Kabod. All right. Heavy in English. In the ancient, it's kabod. And I'll write it right here in the ancient right now. Kabod. All right. You got kabod right here in the ancient. You see how ka is sounded out. You got the full letter right here, ka. That's why you got the connector at the bottom, directly underneath it. Then you got ba and da, which are connected. Ka, bod. Ka, bod. I hope everybody understands that. I mean, that's almost as simple as possible. If I had a larger board, I would definitely have put in the Assyrian, but you could also easily just look at the Assyrian in your alphabet and just take the same letters, ka, ba. You take all three letters, and that's how you would identify from the ancient and the Assyrian. because you just take the same letters from the ancient, and it'll be the same letters in the Syrian too. So ka in the ancient, you also had ka in the Syrian, ba ba in the Syrian, da in the Syrian. So whatever you got up top, you do to the bottom. Best way I could explain it for something that's written in ancient, just get the same letters from top to bottom, from right to left, and that's how you will have the word kabod from ancient and Assyrian. Just get you got ka. You want me to write it? Let me see. Let's see. So in the Assyrian, it'll just be like this, and then you got boom boom, and you got da, and that's how you write in this Assyrian ancient. The letters you will have in the ancient right here, from right to left, is the same letters you will have in the Syrian. That's how you will read it in the Tanakh, in the Syrian. So whatever you have in the ancient, just formalize it, same letters in the Syrian. Kabbalah. The more you listen, the more you take notes, the more it'll get easier and easier to identify these words in the Tanakh. Because whenever we have a high holy day or a feast day, we read it in the English and we read it in the Tanakh, which is the Assyrian Hebrew. So whenever we do something like a high holy day, whenever we read in Assyrian, it gives it that extra power, that extra emphasis on our culture and how they read it in ancient times. That's the difference between English right now, which is an oppressive language, same thing as Spanish and everything else. Hebrew is a powerful language that was our ancestors, and by us bringing it back, we're giving the Most High his authority back, his power, everything that he gave us from the beginning. And that's what we want to do with this ancient and Assyrian Hebrew. Next word. I hope everybody got that. I don't want to move too fast, but all right. Hebrew. If you are a descendant of Black, Hispanic, and Native, you are a descendant of the Hebrews, descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Hebrew in the ancient Hebrew is Ibaryath. Remember, only write it in capital letters. There's no lower cases. Yeah. Hebrew, in ancient Hebrew, it was Ibaryath. Right here, I'm going to write it from right to left. So you got I bar yath. It's two connectors. So you have I. You got ba and ra with a connector. So it says ba and ra. Cut out the A. I bar. Then you got ya and tha. You cut off the A with the tha. I bar yath. I bar yath. And in English, I bar yath means Hebrew. I hope everybody can see it real well. want to say great job. Hopefully everybody's taking notes. Before we make sentences, definitely we need to know these words before we put them into to little sentences. But definitely, words go a long way. You got heaven, Shamayam, Shamayam. You got heavy, Kabad, Kabad. In the ancient, you got Hebrew, I bar yath. In the ancient, this is how it's spelled, I bar yath with the connectors. I'm gonna give everybody a few moments to go ahead and write it down in their notes. You never know when you're gonna need these words, so it's good to have them rather than not have them. And then I'll move on to the next 3 words. Remember, this class is every Friday at 6 p.m. Before I move on, definitely don't forget to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the Roundtable Truth. It will be on at 8 p.m. today. I don't know what stories are going to come out, but you got 5 of the heaviest hitters in Chicago and Gary, Indiana on this Roundtable Truth podcast. Definitely want to check it out and see what's going to be talked about. Since I've been in the truth, these brothers have impressed me over and over and over again and showed me that, even though I know stuff, they're teaching me more. And that's one thing that I learned is you always want to know that you're around people who are wise, who can teach you things, who can show you things. And that's what humility is all about, is when you are not stubborn enough to be like, you know what, these brothers are super smart. And, they're teaching me stuff on a daily basis. At times, I teach them things. But the main thing is we're teaching each other and we're growing. As Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, you will never see a group of Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives that get along like this. And right there, in plain and simple, it has to be meaningful to everybody, because a lot of times we always want to go at each other's necks. This is the one organization, this one place, this one body that we come together and we're at peace with each other. We know how to handle difficult situations amongst each other. If we have a disagreement, we know how to handle it. And we hold everybody accountable. The men hold the men accountable. The women hold the women accountable. And then the kids, we're teaching them so they can hold each other accountable from youngest to old, from oldest to youngest. And that's what a family is. A family is not just what you were born with all around you. A family is who are the ones who've been oppressed with you and been through the same things you've been through. And, who are willing to change those horrible lifestyles that we learned in Christianity, Catholicism, in Islam. We're here, we're doing better. We're not here to harm anybody. Don't get it wrong. We could wreck shop if we want to, but that's on defensive. But don't get it wrong. We're not here to harm any of our people. We're here to uplift any one of our brothers and sisters that are out here who just want to learn the truth of the Bible. Every Black, Hispanic, and Native always want to learn the Bible. And we always took a person's word for it. And a lot of times they were misguiding us. They were misinterpreting stuff. And they were giving us the wrong or false information. Since I've been here in the Isupk, I'm telling you, me personally, when I hear the truth, I recognize the truth, I honor the truth. And this is where you get the plain old truth. If you got 100 questions, the brothers here got 100 answers. That's something you can't say in the Christian or Catholic churches you can do. You just got to go there and you got to go ahead and let them say things, and you just got to feel like your salvation is in their hands. Their guidance is in your how you say, like, your spirit is in their hands, and you can't do that because they're not teaching you anything. You can't even question them. Over here, you can ask your questions. We'll give you answers. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how crazy or idiotic the questions is, but brothers in here do have the answers and the solutions for you. So don't be too high and mighty or too stubborn to be like, I learned this over here. Let me see what these brothers are about. Let me see what they say. And then once you hear the truth, understand that you have to change certain things about yourself. That you can't be a disgusting person no more. But I'm gonna get off that again because sometimes I can roll on. And this is a Hebrew class, but definitely tune into the Round Table Truth on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, TikTok, wherever. Just type it into any social media, and I bet you will come up. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get 3 other words, and that's probably all I got because then I got a slave. But let me get 3 more words for y'all. Salakia. And that's the thing, like when you love the Most High God in Christ, you want to do the right thing. Every Black Hispanic native, we always want to do the right thing, but we never got the right feedback. We never got the right teachings. And one thing about us growing up, and as men, women, and even our children growing up and stuff, we want to show the next generation properly these records, these historical records that are in the Bible, which is for Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. We don't want to continue the generational curses because the oppressor taught us wrong, and we continue to mislead our own. Let's not be too prideful out here, and let's definitely get in touch with the ISPK. You go to ispk.com and find a school in your area, and definitely get in touch with somebody and ask any questions you got. As many questions you got, they got answers. And the one thing I know is these brothers always make time. If you are a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native, they'll make time for you. Oh, you got questions? Man, I love the Bible. Here, you just ask me whatever you got to ask, and then they got to answer for everything. And then you just think about it, like, wow, that's amazing that all my answers that I needed were right in front of me the whole time. All right. Next one is help. These are the last 3. Salaki, if I talk a little bit much, I just don't want to leave no gaps in the air when I'm hearing I'm erasing stuff or doing stuff. Help in Hebrew is Izar. Izar. So help in English is Izar in the Hebrew. And I'm gonna write it from right to left in the ancient, so you got it in your notes. Boom, I got you. Izar. Help in the English is Izar in the Hebrew, Izar. And how you spell it in the ancient is I with the circle, Izar with the connector, Izar. And that would be help. I pray everybody understands. All we ever try to do is give out the truth of the Bible, no matter what class it is. It could be the biblical law class, it could be the brotherhood class, it could be scripture breakdown, it could be Lashawan Qadash. Every time we're here on our platforms, on our channels, all we're trying to do is produce the truth to you. It's up to you to notice the truth and come out of those Christian and Catholic churches, them Islam mosques, them Rastafarianism, whatever you into. Every Black Hispanic I know, always Black Hispanic Native, they always believe in this Bible. They just were really, really horribly misled by the oppressor's doctrine. But now that we got these records, we could read and we understand them a lot better. Now we could be taught better. Now we could raise our families better. Now we could be good to each other. Now, With that, let me get the next one. Salakia. Next one is here. We here right now, and we gotta learn the truth. So here. All right. So ka. Ka. All right. So here in English is Ka'an, Ka'an, Ka'an. I'm going to write in the Hebrew, Salaki. Okay. You got Ka, and you got An. So you got Ka, K-A, K-A. Then you got A-H, A-H, and then you got Na, which is connected. You knock out the A at the end, you got Ka'an, which in English means here. Here is the home of the truth. And I got one more, then I'm gonna have to rotate. Gotta do the slave work. All right. Next one is high. You got it right here. High. Or exalted. High or exalted in English. In the Hebrew, it's called Ram. Ram. Man. High or exalted is Ram in the Hebrew. All right. Connector. So you got Ra, and you got Ma. When you got the connector on the bottom, you knock the A off at the end, you got Rum. Rum. Rum in ancient Hebrew means high or exalted. I'm gonna leave that for a couple seconds, then I'm up out of here, y'all. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely engage on the chat sometimes, if you could, let me know who's there. And if there's some words that you might want me to go over, or you want to know how to spell them in the Hebrew, just let me know. I could definitely go over that. And that's it. Hopefully that's enough time for y'all. Just like I said, shalom everybody. Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Broke a thumb to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilatham B'Shem Yahshua to the sisters. Definitely catch the Roundtable Truth. It's gonna be on in a few. Definitely like, share, subscribe on every platform for the Roundtable Truth on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Also Isupk Chicago, all platforms also, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Isupk Gary, Indiana, on all platforms. And with that, I want to see y'all next week. Sorry, I'm stuck on time right now, but shalom everybody.